The stream. Stand by.
Oh, man.
Look at that. Ooh, live, baby. We're live.
Just the same direction you came from.
Okay.
Like this?
No, the other way.
Pan.
Right there. Yep.
Cool. All right. We're live, kids.
All right.
Say hi, everyone. Hey.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
how you doing?
All right.
How you doing?
It's on the Facebook
We're
page,
just
huh?
going to chit chat. I'm going to share the show. Anybody who is so inclined, please do so. And
It's on the Facebook page, huh?
AJ, you going to share the show, buddy?
You bet I am. I'm on my other computer right now doing that as we speak.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Share
Yeah,
it
we're
to
going to
my
have a great
story.
show today. I'm really looking forward to this.
Is it how many minutes until we're live? Is it?
We're
About
actually
four,
live
let's
right
see.
now. Then the show starts right at 2.
Got it. So just 5 minutes, you said?
Yeah, 5 minutes from
Yeah,
now.
about 3
Cool.
minutes now, yeah. There we are.
How many minutes until we're live?
All right.
Is it like
Welcome, everyone,
like
to-
Twitch or anything? Oh,
What's
sorry,
that?
Please, after you.
With that,
After you.
Go
After you.
ahead. I'll just say welcome to everybody
It's
that's
going great.
signing in.
Cool. I was gonna say, is it like Twitch where I can see the chat on the right hand side, or is that just for you guys?
that's just for
That's-
us.
Yeah.
Cool. It's great. Block out the hate comments. That's good for me. Thank you. Very
We
fragile
live-
over here.
We live for the trolls.
All right, looking good.
Adding on my Facebook.
Cool deal.
With Applebox Network. Cool. Shared, and then there's nothing for me to share really on Instagram, right? It's Facebook only. Is that correct?
Yeah, Facebook only. Yeah. If you were going
Okay.
live, you could, but it's just about that.
No
It goes
worries.
from us. We do Facebook, we do Periscope, we do Twitter, and we do YouTube.
You guys are great, man. You are so good about social media. You really are. It's coming from a millennial too, so it's worth twice as much.
I
Hey,
know,
Bobby
that's-
Fever,
that's
thanks for
the
tuning in.
ultimate compliment. That's the
Hey, Bobby
ultimate
Fever.
compliment.
And it is.
Bobby
It is.
Fever,
There's no
the
greater
man.
honor than being called tech savvy by a millennial.
No, there is not. There is not. Yeah. Yeah, Bobby's such a great guy. I love that. I love that guy. Been following him 10 years. But
Okay, I'm just
you know
sharing.
what?
Just sharing
It's
here.
funny. It's funny about social media.
Hmm.
The farther you get into it, the less you know. You realize what a hugely deep subject it is, and it's almost like the space shuttle. You could not possibly understand and operate it all yourself.
It's like the space shuttle. I like that. I don't know, man. For someone who says that, you are pretty good, dude. At
I really
like, all your
appreciate
live
that.
stuff, and
Thank you.
yeah, I mean it. I say it every time I see you. It's worthy mentioning. All right, I'm
Well,
gonna say.
believe me, the live stuff has a
Going
lot to do
live.
with Tony, because I would still be on my phone holding it up like this if it wasn't there.
Smart.
So,
Okay, shared on all social media platforms.
You
cool.
are
Hey,
the
if you're
man.
tuned in,
You're
thanks for
the
joining us.
man.
Please share the show. Like our page.
Yeah.
Go to our YouTube page and give us love over there. Onset Lighting. Yeah, our YouTube page is Onset Lighting.
Okay. Going live with... Beautiful.
Cool. 1 minute, gents.
1 minute to tea time. The blast off.
Do, 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 do. We've been listening to this music for 4 years, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is that a playlist or?
Never give.
What's crazy is that he can change it too if he wants. He just likes that song.
I could
repeat.
He's loving it. He's loving it. Thanks for the love, Greg. Thanks for the love, Mr. Greg Witt down in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
My old buddy from years and years ago. Years and years.
Does he tune in every week, or is this a
Oh
special?
yeah, he's a good friend. He's a good friend.
That's awesome.
You know, yeah. This goes back to the early 70s when we were going to rock festivals and having big luau's and stuff out at his farm in Orting.
That's funny.
All right, gents. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Burnie's Applebox. 2 o'clock must be Burnie's Applebox. And very special guest, somebody we've had on the show before, somebody I follow on social media all the time. Great commercial director, great guy, just really fun to talk to, AJ Bleyer. How are you doing, buddy? All right.
I'm here. Doing well. Totally normal times. Nothing weird at all happening in the world. Just normal times over here. Yeah.
You know, this business is so boring, isn't it, AJ?
Never changes.
Yeah.
It's always the same. No new challenges, you know? Give me something.
Yeah, I know. So
It's good to see you, man. How's it been for you? How's it been over there? Is your world like turned upside down?
You know, of course, my world has been turned upside down overnight, you know, really, you know, without warning. I mean, I have to say I was so unaware of what this was going to be like that I felt like I thought, oh, what, we're going to have to stay home next week, huh? Oh, okay, I could use the rest.
Yeah.
I could, you know, I got plenty of things to
Hello.
do. And pretty
Yeah, I think your
soon,
mic
you
is
know,
still hot, Tony, by the way.
Hey,
Yeah, go
let
ahead,
me
go
introduce Tony real quick. Tony, how you doing, brother?
I am here. I'm here.
There you are. Good, thanks,
Yeah,
Tony.
working with
Tony's going to be keeping us straight this whole show here.
working with a new mic today, so we'll see how this goes.
Sound
There you
great,
go.
Tony.
There you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, but you know, I want to hear about your experience. But for me, this is actually these last 3 weeks, and this is all very personal, I think, to everybody, depending on where they're at in their life and what kind of, you know, responsibilities they have and all that. But it has been a very introspective time for me, and I've really had to, you know, think a lot about my future. I mean, and that's mainly because of what you see, the gray hair here. You know, I've really had to think about what the future holds for me. So that's been one thing. Tell us about you. Tell us how much did this sneak up on you, and what have you been doing in the meantime?
Yeah, well, I'd say it certainly did. I don't think anyone really sees this coming. And certainly this is not anything I think any of us have experienced in our lifetime before. What's so crazy about it, what really is so unbelievable about it, touching my face, it's just how quickly your lifestyle can change just in a global sense within a matter of weeks. Like there are so many systems and things about society that we just kind of assume are locked in place, like baked in to our reality. And then boom, it's just a wave can come, and suddenly the entire world has effectively shut down for weeks now. Just madness. It makes you just realize how ever changing the world really is. Other than that, it's interesting. You know, I'm both a shooter and an editor. I've done a lot over my career of both, and on one hand, you think, okay, well, there's no more productions because we're no longer getting big groups of people together. But at the same time, you're not really editing that much if there's not that much being shot. So, yeah, man, it's been really interesting. I've been waking up every day with kind of three main goals. I actually wrote them down because I didn't want to forget to mention them on this. There are three things that I try to do every day. I try to do something for my mind that's creative. So whether it's thinking of a new thing to shoot, or learning how to retouch a little bit better, or even going out and I wrote a song in the time that I've been doing this. Just something to stimulate you creatively so you don't lose that. Then something for my business, because look, we are all still business owners and we need to keep afloat in these times, and thinking about what you can do to kind of adjust your strategy as a business owner for the current landscape. Is there's one thing you can do, a new skill you can learn, a person you can reach out to, something. I just think, something every day. We're all figuring this out, though. We're all trying to get above water and swim here. And the last is just something for your health. If you can't get out of the house, I know for me, every time I finally get out of the house, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. It's like I should totally do this more. But sometimes just getting there is a bit of a struggle. But I was outside a little bit today, and oh my God, the air is so clear today. Like me in West Los Angeles, I feel it. It is like mountain air. It's really cool.
Yeah, you know what? It's really funny because I've actually surprisingly been turned on to a few things that have happened positively, I will say. One is, first of all, if everybody's staying in, and I totally intellectually understand this, if everybody is staying in, we are all collectively doing something for each other. So while
That's
it's
right.
very solitary in its practice, it's actually thinking of the group in a much more dynamic way,
Isn't
and
it
that's
weird that right
every.
now the world is just all connected through our isolation? It's really strange. We're all doing something more in unison now than I can ever recall in my lifetime, globally. But yeah,
I think ever, in all honesty, the thing, and contrary to popular belief, I wasn't in this one, but World War II, is something that the whole world was involved in one way or
right.
another back when. That was long before most of our times, and
And
um,
even then, it
I
wasn't
think,
unified in its front.
oh no, it wasn't unified at all. No, not at
I think it's
all.
safe to
Not at
say.
all.
I think we can agree that
Hence
World War
World
II was
War.
not. Yeah, yeah.
um, but
So dumb.
but in that, I mean, everybody was involved with it in some capacity. You couldn't be sort of neutral to it.
Right.
You actually had to take
It
some
touched
action.
everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is really the last time that we've had something like that, and maybe even the first
It's
time on
fair.
a worldwide basis. You know, um,
Right.
but it is so good. But you mentioned the air being cleaner. I have not, I live in Laguna Beach, right by the beach, but there is from John Wayne Airport, there's like a flight path that sends jets going a certain direction, mostly to the southeast, I believe. Oh, right
Okay.
over Laguna. Now they're pretty elevated, but you can see them. They're not loud or anything like that. I have not seen a jet since this thing happened, you know. And just like you were saying, you saw the air. There's a Catalina Island, which of course you can see very clearly from Laguna Beach, but there's also San Clemente Island, which is smaller
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
further out.
You can see that, I
I
bet.
never see it, but I'm telling you, I went out the other day, I saw it
Oh,
clearly.
man.
And there
Ah, I
are
can't wait to be
upsides.
outside.
Yeah. Plus, they cleared the beach. You cannot go on to Laguna Beach anywhere in the city um,
Yeah.
at all now. And I was talking to some lifeguards, and they said they've seen so much more wildlife on the beach.
Mm.
and
That's
it's
cool.
like coming back. There's no footprints or anything.
I mean, what a, and I look, this isn't worth it, of course, and it's hurting everybody, but just for a moment to think about how this must feel to the environmentalists who, like, have for so long just wanted to show humanity what's possible if humans could just stop for one moment, like, collectively, and you just begin to see how quickly the earth begins to, like, heal itself as a living thing. And what a rare opportunity for them to just have such an
Yes,
immediate shut off of all air and ground travel. And, um, yeah,
yes.
unbelievable. And how quickly it
You
is
know
really
what?
coming back to life is really something.
It's truly opened my eyes to the impact that we have, and both ways, I guess. It's opened my eyes that collectively we can make such a huge difference, and in the environment and personally, you know. Um, 16 million people have filed for unemployment in the last 3 weeks.
It's wild.
Um, I honestly think, and this is, I'm not trying to get on any bandwagon here. That is not my intention. But I think that something like this is an empowers people in this sense is you start learning how powerful you are collectively. We've really never had a demonstration of this before, and it comes out of necessity, even some self-centeredness. You don't want to get it, you don't want to have the
Right.
potential of dying, but also I think with that, I think people start collectively becoming more demanding too. And I think that's going to have very interesting and, in my mind, good repercussions from it, you know. But I
Yeah.
know you, as a filmmaker, too, must have looked at this thing, because I certainly have, and I think everybody goes, "This is the science fiction movie in real life." This is the
Yeah.
one that Contagion now is exactly about this. As a but those
It is wild
effects.
that you review older media and you begin to see certain terms like that are now also familiar. Like, we need to social distance. You're like, oh man, yeah, okay, that really is like a pandemic response. It kind of puts what's happening now into perspective. I think it's really hard
Yeah.
to be reflective about life in a day-to-day sense, but you look back a month later or 6 months later and you're really able to go, man, that was a crazy time. Right now I think it's everyone just kind of trying to get acclimated. And I remind, this is kind of, we are now entering the point at which they said everything was going to kind of peak. But at least here in California, fortunately, it seems like we're all being really good about self-distancing, which is nice. It is interesting, though. I have been approached for a few projects that want to shoot, and they want to shoot in the next few weeks. And it puts me in an odd place where, on one hand, I have no other film projects really lined up and confirmed right now. But at the same time, um, I just don't feel right doing it. And especially when it's things where I have to bring on additional crew, lighting and sound and stuff. I wouldn't want to put my crew in danger either. It just feels irresponsible. At first I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, we can do it 6 feet distancing. I think it's possible. And then, as I think about it more and more, and I think about what it would actually be like and how I would actually do it in a way that's safe, and if it is possible, and taking these people I really care about, this great crew of mine, and putting them in this position, it just doesn't feel responsible. So I've declined, but I've had to decline a few projects now, not in exchange for anything else, just to say, nah, and I'm just back at home. But
Yeah.
I have been taking on, I immediately thought of a creative project I'm kind of excited about right now that I don't want to talk about too much, but I am working on something right now that I think I'll be able to release during quarantine, which is really nice. Quarantine, sorry. And then I've wrote I've been writing music too, which is really fun. Not a life goal of mine by any way to be a musician, but just writing music. It's been really fun. It's good
Well,
creatively,
you know
but
what?
work wise.
I think that really brings up a good point, because it's a bit of a journey of self-discovery when we have some time alone too. I know that I have found myself thinking about things and starting to really look at myself in almost a different way, because so much of my time has been, in the last 20 years, been about the film business. It's been about running my small business. It's been about career.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about what other people are doing in my industry. And really, to sort of stop from that and not not have something that's really immediately on your plate. I've been very introspective about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, where I stand right now, all of those things.
Like,
And
who's in your
I
house? How many people you got in your house right now?
what's that?
How many people do you have? Are you sharing your home with right now?
Just me and my wife. Just me and my wife.
Got it.
And believe me, it's easier on me than it is on my wife. I can tell you that, right?
That's funny. That's good, Jack. That's funny.
But we live in a very small place. We're blessed. We live in a beautiful place, Laguna Beach. But also, that's another thing that I would have to say, AJ. This is another thing that is really sort of, you know, jading my spirit a bit. Is I'm used to this town. I've lived here for 20 years. It's the longest place I've ever lived. Okay, bar
Mm-hmm.
none. And
Yeah.
I'm so used to the way it looks, the way it operates, its persona, it's everything. And of course it's dynamic, it's changing all the time. But now, you walk down the main street and it's all locked businesses, it's all businesses with signs under this, everybody's closed. It's
Yeah.
really it's really kind of jarring, to really see it at this in this state, and also it I'm thinking about like and not to fill the show up with this, but I'm really thinking about the future. I'm really
Yeah.
thinking about what's next, and maybe I really believe in like you get sent messages, and if you're going to believe that, if you're going to do that and operate on that way, which I have sort of done all my life, I think, well, this sounds like a pretty loud message right now,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I hear you,
um,
man. This is
but
crazy. It's a weird
you know
time.
what? You have been doing, and you just told us what you've been doing while you're in quarantine like this. What were you doing right up to quarantine? Tell me about that story. What was your world like just two,
Oh, it's a
three
bummer
weeks
because
ago?
it was gonna be so good. It's such a bummer because it was gonna be so good. I have been
Yeah,
the last few years have really been a journey for me as a young director with my own company, slowly earning kind of larger and larger production opportunities has really been the challenge. Like I think we've done some cool work, and I've been like, I finally not long before the quarantine hit, I kind of re-edited my reel, which now I feel a lot stronger about than I have for a long time. I had a commercial finally come out that was a really large one for me. It was the new tourism campaign for the city of Los Angeles, which is kind of ironic that I just dropped during a pandemic, but it's still really pretty footage. It's very nostalgic now. But I got to do the new what will be the 2020 campaign. It's just so funny the timing. But yeah, tourism campaign for the city of
yeah,
LA, which was really honestly a dream come true production because I'm born and raised in this city, and I have so many memories on nearly every city block, just exploring Venice and Santa Monica and those areas in particular, and to then go back with a film crew and have a crane and police and shut down the boulevard. I don't know. That was a really crazy time. So to see that, and it aired on TV during like Oscars, so that was really cool. And it had been playing a lot, so that was really fun experience for me. But then I've been working a lot with I don't know how much I can say. I've been working a lot with an esports organization called Team Liquid, who are just fantastic. And I've been working closely with a buddy of mine there named Ian, and we've been working on some cool projects, and we've had a lot of creative ideas begin to come to light, including some really awesome new visual projects that were all set to go, and definitely would have been exciting undertakings. And we were just really at the finish line, and then the quarantine hit, and the conversation was just paused, as were a lot of the conversations I've been having right now. So it's just a pause. It's just a big old pause button right now. And that's what's so strange about this is in film business, I've felt like I'm this close to earning opportunities that ended up disappearing for no real reason, or thinking like it was a slow period and getting an unexpected phone call for a huge opportunity that shoots in 48 hours. There's not a whole lot of ever expecting what's going to go on in this town. But you're kind of used to opportunities coming and going, but just for everything to not be going or stopping and just paused is very strange. Like you, I think What's far more fascinating than the up and down of this pandemic is how it will kind of shift us in both an economic and societal way moving forward. I think there's going to be a lot of changes that won't exactly be the same. I think a lot of people are going to realize their jobs can be done largely, if not entirely, remotely, which is something. I think that this will hopefully drive us to be a little bit more environmentally conscious if we see cleaner streets and cleaner air, and then we begin to go back to our normal ways, and we're able to feel not only the reverse that happened while we were all in quarantine, but also the reverse that happens as we resume our daily lives. And hopefully it will just cause us to be a little bit more reflective now that the difference will be palpable a little bit more than I think it had been for a lot of people, certainly those in like a metropolis kind of area. And then on top of that, it's more than I can even say. I wonder if this will, if the messaging that we've been promoting will change because our target audience has changed, because now more people are viewing things in different ways, or there's certain things that a commercial would have shown that we can't just dive back into, like showing a bunch of friends all hugging on the beach. Is that responsible to show right away? Can we get back into that? I just don't know what kind of messaging brands are going to want to put out after this. I think it's also going to be really interesting to see what it does to relationships. I think a lot of people who are maybe stuck together are experiencing difficult times right now, and this is a high stress situation for nearly everyone right now in any kind of relationship, whether it's a roommate friendship relationship or with a partner, making decisions to stick together or separate during this time. And then I also think just the value of connecting with people. Like, not only is my day brighter when I get to just talk to people and see familiar faces like yours, and thank you for having me on the show, but like, man, I would love to like hug some of my friends so bad right now, and it would just be so fun. Like, just something that would have been a pretty boring, like, what do you want to do? And I'd be like, oh, why don't we just sit down and get like a cup of coffee and sit on a bench? So fun. That would like make my week. So I'm really, that's kind of, it's really interesting to see where things are going. I'm not sure.
It's
I'm
funny
not sure, but
you say that, because I literally just had a Zoom meetup with a bunch of guys that I sing with. I sing a chorus, a barbershop chorus.
No way! I did not.
Yeah,
I have so
I
much
was surprised.
It's really cool. Like acapella.
But I haven't seen
like
these guys in. I haven't seen these guys in like 3 weeks. None of them. I mean, we've been texting back and forth, but yeah, we got on a Zoom call the other night, and like, wow, you realize just how much you miss that contact, that socialization. And yeah, I'm with you. I would love to have hugged every damn one of them, but that's.
Plus, singing a chorus is hard when you got like broadcast, like internet latency too. It just doesn't quite work. Yeah, can't be done.
Doesn't. We're supposed to compete. Yeah, we're supposed to compete in October, and we're like, well, how are we supposed to rehearse?
All right, I know this is what the show's about, but I just need to know this. So you are in a competitive vocal group? That is so cool. Is it a chorus, or is it a barbershop thing, or what is it?
I sing in a barbershop chorus that competes,
so
and I also sing in a barbershop quartet that also competes. So both.
Wow. May I ask the name of your group?
The chorus is Gaslight Chorus, which is on YouTube and that Facebook thing. But the quartet is called HOPS, which is actually an acronym for the last names of the individuals in the group. Hope, Otto,
that's nice.
Pfaff, Sailor, yeah. So,
dude, I just have such an appreciation for quartet arrangement when it's done really well. I just think it's so. I don't sing, nor do I compose that at all. But I just think, in fact, I have gone down rabbit holes on YouTube just of barbershop quartets, because some of the harmonies they choose and the like bending some of the notes up to meet another one, I just think can be so beautiful. There's a video from one of the champions of a long one called Crossroads. And it's just an incredible. Oh man, they're just unbelievable. But anyway, now that we've covered the barbershop section of the
thanks for that.
The interview. It's super cool though, man. I'm gonna check you guys out. I wrote it down.
Yeah, please do. We have the tourism spot if you want to take a look at it, guys.
Sure.
All right.
Oh, hold on. I think Burnie is.
Burnie. Oh wait, Burnie. Wait.
Yeah, I noticed.
There he is. Hey, you there? Wait, I'm sorry, we just took over the show, Burnie.
Yeah, Burnie, I didn't mute him.
All good.
All right.
I just wanted to say with AJ though, how many great points did you hit on in talking about what's happening to us right now, the relationships, what stories we're going to tell as filmmakers after this. And when I say filmmakers, I'm talking about commercials, I'm talking about messaging, I'm talking about the whole story, but you bring up so many good things in how we approach this next season that we're in now, and how much will stay and how much will just drift off. But I think one thing we can be assured of is whatever we had in that past world that was just 2 weeks ago now is gone permanently as a unit. Also, you bring up something too. You said something about maybe people won't be as in a hurry. And I think about this, the whole family unit probably for the first time being together day after day. The parents are facilitating teaching the kids with outside help, but they are actually as a unit. And, there's going to be good stories and bad stories come out of that. People are
Yep.
going to be able to handle it. Other people will not be able to handle it. But what a dynamic that we haven't had before. And I'm just wondering, first of all, I think that people have been around the house, and like I think people are going to tend to stay in the house after this. I think the house has become the safe place in society now. And
we were heading there anyway with all this VR stuff, We're moving in that direction. We've been moving towards, I think, a society that connects less and less in person, more online. Absolutely. Yeah. For better or for worse.
Just like this. We normally
it's like this, Bernie. I wouldn't be seen in person with you. I wouldn't be caught in person with you. But I feel safe doing this, here I'm safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things are such a big change for communications, for how we talk to each other, and for what we do. And I think also quite liberating. We have always been a thing where, I've got to go there to see that person. I mean, this has not been, what we're doing right here has not been an option for most of your life, nonetheless to say most of mine. You know what I mean?
Absolutely true.
And now we can't do that.
Yeah. My mom always calls this kind of technology very Star Trek.
Yeah. Now I know we've got some stuff, the stuff that you did, you gave us some pictures. I think we want to take a look at that too. And then the stuff that you did on the track that you showed not long ago, and it prompted my call to you again, that you were doing in the helicopter and all that.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you about that. Yeah.
That was so awesome. And we've got a good video piece, don't we, Tony? Tony there?
Now Tony was hurt, and now he's
Oh,
Tony, how you doing, buddy?
can't hear Tony. I can't anyway.
Can't hear Tony. No, I can't either.
How we going? Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah,
there it is.
There we are.
Too many inputs right now to deal with this. Yeah, we got a couple of comments, so if we want to run through those real quick, and then
please, let's see them. Yeah.
Let's see. Our good friend we know is watching, Mr. Fever. Thank you.
Fever,
during this downtime. Yeah, it would be advantageous to completely go through our equipment for inventory, ID marking, maintenance, repair, enabling start back up fresh and super efficient, knowing no faulty or absent parts.
He's right.
Awesome. Yes. Let me add to that, probably a good thorough cleaning of all the gear would be a good thing as well. I think that's a video I'm going to make here. Yeah, that's a video I'm going to make, how you should clean equipment when it comes back now, because we're in a different world. Everywhere there's a handle, there's a hand. And you have to clean that off and make sure that everything goes out clean. So, there's new things to do for sure.
And little love for AJ from Chris Stutven.
Chris, dude, Chris, dude, what's up, man? Long time no chat. I met Chris back when I worked at Apple. Oh man. Hey buddy, I hope you're safe. I
That's
hope you're doing well.
awesome. That's awesome. That's
So a
great.
couple of
That's
comments
great.
there. Let's take a look at the LA tourism spot first. Let's do that.
All right, that sounds great.
Bernie's muted again, or he's just speechless because the ad was just that beautiful, which is also fair. Yeah,
No, that is very cool,
He's
dude.
speechless.
Very cool.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
No, what is so funny, man? So first of all, just to be super clear, I co-directed that piece, just so it's clear. It's not entirely my footage. Some is, some isn't. But it's so funny. I watched that piece, and I'm just like, I'm looking at the people in line at the food truck. I'm looking at the hikers. I'm like, not 6 feet. Not 6 feet. It's crazy how alien that world seems. You know, I don't know about you. It just feels strange to me every time I see, like, I watch an old movie and people are just, huddled together, and or you see a bunch of people just all crowded to, I don't know. It's interesting. It's just a different time. It's crazy. This is wild.
That really makes a very good point. I think there's going to be a huge timestamp now, right? There's a huge timestamp in what was before and what's after.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. Certainly I think a lot of big productions are obviously not things that get shot and released overnight. They're obviously things that people work on building over oftentimes great periods of time, years at times. And not only as we fall deeper and deeper into this kind of self-isolation period, is there going to be a reduction in media content, or at least the quality of it, but it will take some time to get these big studio pictures back again. I think just because, no studio wants to do that before it's safe. And we're talking about at times, 50, 100 plus people. So curious to see. But there's also, one thing that I'm sorry, go ahead. I think I'm picturing, it's really touching my face. It's really every time the landscape changes, there's a lot of inconvenience because maybe things you found that were working are no longer applicable. But if you look closely enough, and if it's an optimistic outlook, but there are opportunities out there. Anytime the rules change, whether it's harder or easier, there are always ways to kind of make the most and succeed in this time. There are always opportunities to be found in this time. So rather than wallow for too long about the work that I had that now is on pause, or the things I'm unable to do given the current landscape of what's going on, I'm trying to think of opportunities that this allows me that I didn't have before. Like, for example, in all transparency, there are always better ways to edit, new plugins, new Photoshop techniques, things that I've been meaning to just sit down and learn. And I've always been telling myself, man, if I just had the time to just sit at home and just watch a bunch of these YouTube videos and really educate myself, I bet you I can learn some new techniques in editing. And I've been taking the time to do that.
I've been just, a real there are ways about that.
Have you?
Yeah. Especially on this show, Burnie knows that. Yeah. Sit down and learn stuff. You
can still develop yourself, Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So
Burnie is muted again.
Oh, am I up?
Good. You're up.
You're up. We got you.
Okay.
We got you.
That's the one thing that has been my experience just in the last 20 years. After every one of these crises, like 9/11, the 2008, all of those, I have come back because of market changes and come back stronger in a slightly different form. And I have no doubt that I will actually make that same transformation in this. While 100%. I don't know what it is, I fully expect it to happen, But I think opportunities, and another thing that I wanted to ask you about, because it's sort of something that I feel hasn't really been spoken of a lot because I think there's so much question mark about, and it's been talked about, but
Hmm.
what happens to the movie theater after this? Will this be the death knell?
If I can be honest,
Go away. You know,
um,
what are your thoughts?
what's going to happen to the movie theater is the same thing that I think we all know has been going to happen to the movie theater. I think this is just going to accelerate it. The reality is that the movie theater, as nostalgic and fun and lovely as it is in a lot of ways an antiquated viewing method. It shows what you have options for only a selection of movies that are available at certain windows. And you have to leave your house and go for it, and the snacks are expensive and the seats are expensive, and it just has been a real coin toss between staying at home for perhaps a weaker visual and audio experience, but endless selection and in the comfort of your own home for free. Subscription prices. So I think for the cinephiles out there will always be cinemas because films just projected on a massive screen with incredible surround sound. It is a really incredible experience, and it is the right way to view that kind of medium if you're going to watch a movie properly, not on a phone or with headphones in. But that being said, as screen technology gets cheaper and cheaper, I think it will become a greater investment for people to buy bigger and nicer screens and audio equipment for their homes. And I don't think the cinema will go away, but I do think it has been taking a hit probably pretty consecutively for a while now, and I think this is just going to accelerate that, in my view.
Yes,
personally.
I completely agree with that assessment because it has been on the way down throughout the last 5-10 years, certainly. And
Yeah.
I find it, I think, how the studios and there's a lot of forces that say, well, it has to go for a week in a theater now. I think that's almost like a commentary of saying, we know it's dead, but just show it for a week, will you?
Yeah.
Because they're going right to Netflix. Where I think one of the opportunities you might be talking about too, though, is to bring the collective experience back into the home. In other words, one thing that I've always had a good time with is having a group of friends around and watching a show, and usually it's something not sports, but it's a show of maybe some drama or something like that. And you got 5 or 6 smart-ass guys sitting around, and they've always got a funny line for the next line, or they're saying something very funny about the show, and sending it up a little bit. I wish there was an app where you could do that remotely. Have maybe a group of friends down.
Well,
on
you
the
can
screen.
actually. You can.
What is it?
So Netflix released a feature. I believe more are doing it now, but Netflix was the first to do it. It's called Watch with Friends. It is a Google Chrome extension, and it puts like on your laptop, it will essentially sync up a play movie time across multiple accounts and give you a live chat window opportunity where you guys can do exactly that if your friends are funnier than you are, like mine.
I had no idea, dude. I had no idea. Yeah.
Listen. It goes on the heels. If you want to talk about a company that's good at like adjusting for current stuff, Netflix is king. Netflix, like people forget that Netflix in startups, the term for it is pivoting, right? If you're building something, you see a greater opportunity and you switch to go do that. Wrigley of Wrigley Gum originally sold all kinds of stuff, and I think he put like a snack in with his current product, and then people liked the snack more, and then he pivoted to the snack, and then he put gum in, and then people liked the gum, and then he just became a gum guy, and that worked. Netflix, people forget, not too many years ago, Netflix was a DVD logistics, shipping, and mailing company. That's what they did, and they did it better than anyone else. They made it as easy as possible to ship and receive DVDs by mail. And right when they became king of that, they realized we're screwed. DVDs are dead. And instead of trying to make the most out of it and going blockbuster, they threw up everything. They said, okay, let's embrace it. Let's trash the whole DVD thing. Let's become a streaming platform. And then from there, now they become a production studio. They're unbelievable. Their turnover rate, I believe a friend shared with me during the startup process, was 300%. So every position was hired, fired, and then hired again by the time they got to a sustainable place. Every position, almost. But yeah, just an incredible. They are an incredible company. They are among the best at like just being timely in their marketing strategy for sure.
Yeah.
As cool as that stuff is, though, there's something just visceral about being able to sit either in a theater or sit in a room with your friends and watch something, and you just
A communal.
that
It makes it communal.
experience. Yeah, just that communal, visceral experience. It just, I don't know. I mean, I love technology. Don't get me wrong. I embrace a lot of stuff, but there is something about
say to that, Tony?
what's that?
Hey, Tony.
What I would say to that, Tony, is that's because it's the only way we've experienced it. You know what I mean? If we had a different mindset, if we would have been able to experience online and had those shared memories like that, I don't think that would be that big a deal to us. You know, there's always that thing like, you know, you miss this because that's what you used to do in the childhood and the way they did it in your childhood. But that's all you remember about it was your childhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the only way you knew.
But it is fun to do with friends, you know.
Yeah. You know what I always loved was in the theater, when you were in a theater, and there was somebody in the crowd who just shouted out some line at some time when it just made it so much funnier.
Yeah.
You know that we'll miss. I'll miss that. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what I was talking about. But yeah, that group
I don't
thing,
think cinema will
still has to
disappear.
be fun.
I think it'll just be a selective treat for the movies that matter most to people. Like right now, I think the only reason why certain movies are still hitting the theater for a week is, as you said, it's for a movie to have a theatrical release, it says a lot more about a film than streaming because it's been given allocation and a time slot in theaters around the world. So it kind of speaks to the caliber of how many people want to see that film. So I think the film circuit for big movies will still exist, and I think it'll become a treat. And I think movie theaters are going to really need to soup up what they're doing in order to really make it the best viewing experience and worth the money as it becomes more and more enticing to stay home. I'm talking like those motorized lazy boy chairs. I'm talking about having a bar available. Really make it an experience unlike yours at home. Give people that, like, there's a few movie theaters I've been to that have couches. Really comfortable couches, and they seat half the people of a normal movie theater, and the couches are kind of spaced apart so everyone has a little bit of privacy, but it's like a really cute way to have a date night with a girlfriend. It's really fun. So I think movie theaters are gonna have to step it up, and then it's like, hey, you know, I saw the new Tarantino films coming out, do you want to see that one in the movie? And they'd be like, yeah, okay, that'd be fun, you know, and we can make it a thing, but it'll be different for sure.
Well, there's also rules there. Go ahead, Bernie.
Oh, no, go ahead, Tony, please.
No, I said, but there's also Academy rules that still exist as well. So any movie that wants to be considered still has to have that 14-day window of release. So I see the Academy probably taking a much closer look at that this year because they were already doing it last year and the last 2 years because of the issues with Netflix and, you know, with them technically not having the release time that was supposed to be. That they were supposed to do. So
yeah, you know, I think the Academy Awards, I think there's a possible category that's going to get degraded. You know what I mean? Pretty quickly. I mean, that has not been a great experience for anyone, I think, in the last few shows. All the numbers are going down. They had that huge faux pas where they named the wrong, you know, Best Picture a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty bad.
And you know, they've tried to put the director of photography and the editing awards during the commercials. So I think it just speaks to that it's a studio advertising system more than really celebrating the movie. Well, they reversed that. You know what I mean? but they floated it. They said they were going to do it. And so I think that maybe the Academy Awards will actually be a casualty in all this. But
altogether, no, there's too much money. There's too much money. It's too much of a machine. That's like Hollywood. Hollywood will let go of a lot of things before they let go of the Oscars. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I think the Oscars has become a huge commercial corporate entity in its own right nowadays. Like it's a machine. People, it is the king of the king of the king of all award shows in my view. So whether it makes sense, whether it's an appropriate award or people think it's fair or not, fine, but it's going to be the Oscars are going to be just fine. Those are not going to be the people hardest hit from this.
I will say this: they're going to have to do a lot of changing.
I agree with.
To still be relevant.
100%.
Hey, now we've got another video, and I want to make sure we get that in. We have some time to look at it and discuss it. Tony, what have we got of AJ's here?
All right, let's see. It depends on what he wants to look at. We have the Thermal Club video, but that's 6 minutes, and we're running out of time in the show, believe it or not. We only got 14 minutes left.
This is a trailer.
But we do have the promo piece, so we can show that.
Cool. Let me give this some...
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I also have the Space Cam video, too, if you want to take a look at that.
Let's do Space Cam. I think Space Cam since I saw you last. So let me explain how this one came to be a little bit. In fact, no, we'll do Thermal and then we'll do Space Cam and I'll make it really concise.
Okay.
So with Thermal I don't know if you guys have been to many racetracks. I do a lot of automotive work if you're not familiar with the stuff I do. And racetracks are, while they're really fun ways to spend a day, they are not very fancy places. For the most part, even the famous ones like Willow Springs, they're essentially a massive big tarmac parking lot in the middle of nowhere. And when you think about how much space you really need in order to create a big circle for something to zip around, like it takes a ton of space. So you stick it in the middle of nowhere where land is cheap, and it can't be too close to residential because it makes a ton of noise, and it's just kind of a dump. There's always like some porta potties and a burger shack, and it's really nothing fancy. So one day I was shooting some media for Lamborghini, and they invited me to this racetrack that we were going to shoot at in Palm Springs called the Thermal Club. I'd never heard of it before. I asked like what kind of circuit it was on or like what kind of racetrack it was. And they said it's a private club. And I said, well, that's interesting. So I walk in, and this place is like paradise. Like it's there's a few restaurants with Michelin star chefs. There's a spa. There's a it's like Disneyland for car people. They have a gas station and a car wash and extra car storage and a tuner shop. And when you become a member, but that's like membership begins at about 10 million. Like it's at another tier of crazy affluence. It's you get your own racing instructor, and like part of being a member there is you have to buy a house, a villa, and there are a bunch of villas that go. They're really building like a city. This place it's hard to put into words. There's so much. It's activities for the kids, and they're really trying to make it like a Disneyland private resort. So when I went there, I was blown away by this place, and I got to know the track people very well. I got to go there more and more as it's a very beautiful racetrack. So a lot of shoots happen there, and we had a nice relationship. And they hit me up when it was time to make their first promotional video after it was built out enough, because it was always under construction every time I'd go. And they sent me over the video they wanted me to make. It was so simple. It was like a real estate video. It was like show the outside of the club, show the inside of the club, show the outside of a house, inside of a house, show that we do food and wine. That's really important. To me, this place seems so fascinating. I was like, I really want to do something special. I feel like we can make something way cooler than that. So they gave me a bullet list of the points they needed me to show, and I wrote the most simple and concise story I could that took us through those points, about a 5-minute short film. And this is effectively my first short film. They approved it, which I was really excited about. But then I just went crazy. It's like, I want to shoot this on cinema cameras, and I want lighting, and I want hair, and I want makeup, and I want actors, and I need to go out there. And it was my first short film. I wrote it myself. I directed it myself. I edited it myself. EP'd the entire thing. So the entire crew, breakfast, lunch, dinner, lodging, everything. I just put the whole production myself. It was a 3-day shoot, and it ended up being nominated for one of the best automotive short films by a big automotive film festival the year afterwards. And we won't watch through the whole movie, but I did make I think it was a 15 or 30 second little teaser trailer of it. So that's what I think there. I just gave you a very long spiel about. Okay.
All right, let's take a look.
Hey, do you have a website?
I do. It's ajbleyer.com.
Okay. And is this piece
you
is the full length piece on there?
Absolutely.
It is.
That's
Cool.
the site.
So we'll make sure to get that in the comments so people can take a look at the full video on the website. So, but right now, let's take a look at the promo piece.
Dude,
So
that was great.
Thanks, man. Thanks, dude.
Remind me of Westworld.
Which I will take all day long. I mean, I will say I got pretty excited with that trailer. Like, nobody dies in my movie, just full disclosure. It's not, and it was hard to make it super high stakes, because it is a race kind of movie, but it's not like, no one's going to get stabbed. Or maybe they do. Watch the movie, find out. But I would say that was really empowering to me because it was the first time I kind of thought of a story and shot a film and executed it, and I felt it all kind of stay together. So after I filmed that piece, I ended up talking with some friends. There's a company called Space Cam. If you ever look at one of those big camera car companies, like the Porsche Cayenne ones, it's essentially 4 parts. You have the car, you got the big arm, you have the camera, but then you also have the thing that is holding the camera. That's a big stabilizing arm, kind of like what you see with a lot of these smaller filmers, but a really big, fancy, heavy one. And there's a few different companies that make those. One of them is called Space Cam. It's a very big company, and they got in touch with me. And I had never shot with a proper camera car, but as a car filming guy, that was a fantasy of mine always. Even out of the last thing you saw, we filmed out the back of a Toyota Tacoma, so it was not like a proper camera car setup. So I got in touch with these people in part because they saw that piece of mine, and they wanted to film something at Thermal because I guess the CEO of that company is now a friend of mine, is a Thermal member, and he wanted to partner with Pursuit Systems, which is a big camera car company. And they had a brand new camera car that was built out of a BMW X5. So they wanted to test that out, test out the new head that Space Cam had made and a camera, and just kind of make sure everything was working. And they asked if they said, if you can think of something cool, then we would love to provide you with that camera car, the crew, and the camera, and you can make something really cool. And I was like, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. So this was kind of put together pretty quickly. It stars the CEO is a really cool guy. It's a buddy of mine named Chucky. He's my age. So it stars his beautiful girlfriend Ashlyn and her friend, and literally we got to play with a bunch of toys. So we had these beautiful girls. We had this incredible camera car and the new red Monstro 8K camera. And I was thinking about like what kind of car we want to feature here. I needed to find a place, right, where we could run this car and I wouldn't have to permit off LA. So I was thinking, and I thought Thermal maybe. So I called Thermal and they said that they would give us the track. So we had the track, we had the car, we had the girls. And I was like, what is our picture vehicle? And I wanted to think of just the brands that I really love that are kind of small and might not have the money to do this. I thought of Aston Martin. So I hit up Aston Martin and I said, if you guys give us a brand new DBS and a drift driver and an extra set of tires, and you transport the car to this racetrack, we will shoot it for you, and you can have all the media for free. You can do whatever you want with it. We're all just doing this for fun. This isn't like a payday. We're all just having a blast. And they said, okay, which was a crazy thing for me, because as a car guy, just to be able to call Aston Martin and say, like, I need your craziest Aston Martin and a drift driver and tires. Bring it to me for free. And they were like, okay. It just was wild. And then we played, and then we just played for the day. One of the things that originally Space Cam wanted to do, like a race between these two girls, and I actually told them no. I really put my foot down, because I said, listen, when you film a race, suddenly continuity becomes a thing, and you have to really get a sense of where the cars are in positioning to one another. And I just didn't want to deal with those logistics, and I'd already shot kind of like a race at Thermal. I said, if we're gonna do this, like, I want her to be driving just for the fun of it. I don't want any story. I just want her to get there and just drift and just shred, and I just want to play with the camera angles and just have fun with it, but just be driving flamboyantly. And they said, cool. So we went out, we shot it. Fun fact about this, I just wrapped in a Honda commercial the night before in Van Nuys. We wrapped shooting at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got in my car. I drove from Van Nuys to Palm Springs, and we started shooting at 8 a.m. I didn't sleep. It was insane.
Let's take a look at this. Yeah.
Cool. And I wrote the music too. I wrote the music with a buddy of mine named Evan Roth, who's a talented composer. So the guitar you hear and stuff is me actually playing, and it was a really fun project.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
This is an AJ project. All right.
Let's take a look.
That was awesome, dude. That was great.
Thanks, man. It was
fantastic.
really fun. It's really fun. Very Michael Bay.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's a nice
listen, we're just about out of time, buddy. So tell us how to get a hold of you. If somebody wants to hire you to do another cool car commercial or anything else. And I love Thermal too, by the way. I've shot out there a couple times myself.
Oh, you have? Cool.
Unbelievable place.
Yeah, it's pretty. And they're wonderful people too.
They are very nice, very accommodating.
If you'd like to get a hold of me, I do a real great mix of photography, directing, and editing. And then I have a commercial production company. We put a lot of these larger shoots together with a team that is incredibly, incredibly talented. If you'd like to see my personal collection of work that I've personally done, it would just be at my website, which is ajbleyer, just my name, .com, BLEYER. I'm also under Instagram under that name. And then my company that's done some more projects is adventfilms.com, and you can find us on Instagram under Advent Films as well.
Awesome. AJ, it's been a real pleasure having you here today, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man. You guys are
much
delightful.
for your time. Oh, I want to give you an open invitation. You just let me know when you want to come back, and I'll probably be hitting you up too as well. But let me know when you want to come back. I love talking to you. I love hearing your take, and I love seeing your project. So
thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. And probably when this quarantine's done and I got a new piece to promote, I'll probably show it here. That'd be wonderful.
Sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Tony, any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. No, all I can say is definitely go and check out the full-length version of the video that we saw, because it's very cool. I've seen the whole thing. It's really nice.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. We'll see you next time, and we'll see you next week at 2 o'clock on Burnie's Applebox. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.